Ankh and Ma'at family. Ankh and Ma'at. Those of you at home who are joining, I see the numbers going up as we speak. I want to say to all those folks that are assembled in the cold, some of you are watching from warm places. You should know that it is not warm in New York City. We're almost at freezing. It'll go below freezing very soon. So we're not going to be here very long, but I should say we are here because this is what we do. We are here on the equinoxes. We are here on the solstices to celebrate the movements of Ra in the heavens. Because this is how our ancestors did it, so shall we do. So let's gather. Let's do a quick semicircle if we can for purification, for preparation to going into this next period. I think I'm going to let you do the purification. Come forward. Now hold it from. You said you don't want to. Be careful. Just try to hold it here, and then try to make sure you have it almost even. Here. So you can clasp your hands around you. Step with your left foot slightly forward, and clasp your hands around you, left over right. And what I'd like you to do is think about all of those things that you are preparing to release for the solstice, and those things you are trying to bring into the world in excellence during this next period. So close your eyes and we will chant the word of divine life. Purified with frankincense and myrrh. Be purified with the waters brought from that sacred river known as the Haki. Nefer. Dua for being here. Dua for allowing us to prepare and to purify for this sacred period. At this point, you should know that before we do anything of importance, one of the first things that we do is that ceremony brought into its current configuration by our elder, Baba Heru Amra Samad Seyfatah. We say dua to him for his walk. We say dua to him for all of the things that he has allowed us to do by being steadfast on his path for over 5 decades. It is because of his steadfastness that we can stand here in the cold today, that we can stand in the sun on other days, and we can recognize that there are those who remember the glorious legacy of our ancient African ancestors living in the Happy Nile Valley region. So we are going to do the opening of the way. Can I ask the 2 priests of the Shrine of Ma'at? I know that we don't have Abut, a female priest here, but we'll do it together. Can I ask the 2 priests? I'm going to ask Abu Ames and Abu Kepra, 2 of the priests of the Shrine of Ma'at, and we also have a full initiate Sanet Seshmi, also, who was also initiated by the Shrine of Ptah. So we know to open the way pretty well. Let's just say that. So, can we please do the opening of the way as our elder has done? Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. We're not going to confuse people too much.
Right, exactly.
Right. Let us begin.
So everyone, I need you to place your left foot forward in a pose of adoration, and we are going to chant the sound of life. I want you to take 5 deep breaths before we begin.
Anasharak in bedhead,
Anasharak in bedhead,
Nuke in bedhead,
Nuke in bedhead,
Anasharak happy,
Anasharak happy,
Nuke happy,
Nuke happy,
Tuau winter,
Tuau winter. Please turn right. Anasharak circuit,
Anasharak circuit,
Nuke circuit,
Nuke circuit,
Anasharak kepsanu,
Anasharak kepsanu,
Nuke kepsanu,
Nuke kepsanu,
Tuau winter,
Tuau winter. Anasharakas,
Anasharak
Nukas,
Nukas,
Anasharak Hamset,
Anasharak onset,
Nukamset,
Nuke onset,
Tuau winter,
Tuau winter. Anasharak neat,
Anasharak neat,
Nuke neat,
nuke neat,
Anasharak dwamutef,
Anasharak dwamutef,
Nuke dwamutef,
nuke dwamutef,
Tuau winter,
Tuau winter.
Anasharak Nut,
Anasharak newt,
Nut,
Newt, newt,
Anasharak Geb,
Anasharak geb,
Nuke Geb,
Nuke geb,
geb,
Tuau winter,
Tuau winter.
Anasharak shoot,
Anasharak shoot,
shoot,
shoot, shoot, shoot,
Nuke
shoot,
Tuau
Anasharak,
tef newt,
Anasharak Tef Nut,
Nuke tef newt,
Nuke Tef Nut,
tef newt,
Tef newt,
tef newt, tef newt,
Nuke Tef Nut, Tuau winter. Anasharak Paut Neteru,
Anasharak paut neteru,
Nuke Paut Neteru,
Nuke paut neteru, Anasharak in gu neteru,
Anasharak in Bu Neteru,
in gu neteru,
Neteru, Neteru, Tuau winter,
Tuau winter.
Tuau winter.
Dwa, 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 to the members of the Wenwet and to our full member for leading us in the opening of the way. I just have to say to you that as we stand here, we should remember that we are opening the way for such an important purpose today. That we're opening the way perhaps on the day that our ancestors would be focused on opening of the way. We come here at the winter solstice. What is the winter solstice? Why is it so important? Now, I know very well that members of the shrine are saying, is Jabari about to give a long discussion on the opening of the way? And I often say I'm going to keep it brief, and they laugh at me. Today, at 29 degrees or so, I'm going to keep it so brief that you at home will be proud. Let me just say to you that we stand here on the day where we commemorate the movements of Ra, the movements of the sun, because this is the day that gives us the least sun, the least light of the entire year. That is what this day is. This is the day that the sun that rises in a slightly different place every day of the year decides to do something curious. It rises at the lowest point in the horizon, and for approximately 3 days, for 3 days, it rises in the same point in the sky with the least amount of light. Our ancestors in great spiritual allegory said the sun had died. This would be a time to take those things that became full through the edification of the rays of Ra, or the Ra's of Ray, into our homes. What were we doing? We were collecting the energy of Ra. We were keeping sacred the energy of Ra. We were ensuring that Ra, which gives us all of the greenery and, in fact, all life on the planet, would return. So today, when some of our friends and family are taking their beautiful trees into their homes, this is actually an echo of a tradition that existed thousands of years before the tradition that they are doing today. So in many ways, if you got a tree in your home, good. You're doing what our ancestors would have expected. And then, of course, on that third day, the sun does something interesting. It rises in that day in a different spot. It has begun to move across the sky again, and it is higher than those preceding 3 days. So what we are actually saying is the sun was born at this time. The sun, S-U-N, was born. And our ancestors then decided that they would, in allegory, describe the sun, S-U-N. So this celebration is one of death and rebirth. This celebration is one where our ancestors recognized that if we were going into a new period, we should be anew. That we should restore mind. That we should find ourselves once more in divine balance. That we should actually make amends in those relationships that are tattered throughout the year. That we should actually deal with those things that are not in balance inside of ourselves during this period. It is the winter solstice that allows us to recognize the divine as above, so below. And so I ask you at home, what are those things that you need to slough off? What are the 7 things that you need to die, to leave in the past periods? And what are the 7 things that you will bring into bright, wonderful, brilliant existence at this period as well? So I want you to think of those things. It's 28 degrees. I'm not going to ask them to say what they are. I want you to think of those things. And remember that as you are getting rid of those 7 things, you are stomping out the enemy of light. You are stomping out a pet. And so as you do these things over the next few days, when you think of those 7 things, take your left foot and stomp a pet. The movement is important. The movement will help you to remember that there are things that you are discarding. And then after you make that step, stand in adoration and speak into existence those 7 things that you will be bringing into this period. This is of critical importance. We should do that which our ancestors have done, because those practices kept us in divine balance. And divine balance is what we need. So, I told you I was going to be brief, right? That was pretty brief. At this point, before we conclude, I just want to know, is there a brief Hesi that we'd like to do? What is Hesi? What is Hesi? Somebody answer me in this instance.
Chant, song.
Chant, song. Hesi is ancient African gospel. Let's put it that way.
Prayer and song.
Yes, it's the way that we galvanize divine energy and harmony. And so, do I see one of our Hesi masters planning something? Is that what you're concocting, or you want to say something? Please say something. Wonderful. So, I'd like to bring forward, so that you know, I'd like to bring forward Abu Pepper, who is one of the shrine's Hesi masters. I see him getting busy over there. Took out the glasses, took out the book. He's cooking something up. So please, Abu Kapra, go forward.
I want to read from the Re'u and Pertem Heru, the so-called Egyptian Book of the Dead. And I'm looking at page 3. And I'm going to read a portion of it very short, and then I'm going to do a Hesi. And I'm going to do the Qumran Hesi tonight. And the Qumran Hesi, may the mystery of the hidden sun be revealed to my face. So, you know, one of the things I was thinking about over these past few days is that our ancestors, you know, they said, as above, so below. So we know there's an outer sun, but there's also an inner sun. And as Hemnete Jabari was just saying, giving birth to that sun inside yourself. So these 3 days, see if you can get still. As the sun is still, see if you can get still and do some inner work, do some meditation, do some prayer, do some Hesi. So I'm going to offer this Hesi to you. Mesu Bedesh an unsen. Mesu Bedesh an unsen. Mesu Bedesh an unsen. Mesu Bedesh an unsen. And this is a loose translation. The sons of impotent revolt, never again shall they rise up. The sons of impotent revolt, never again shall they rise up. The sons of impotent revolt, never shall they rise up again. The sons of impotent revolt, never shall they rise up again. And as Hemnete Jabari was just saying, what are those things in your life that you want to eradicate? What are those things that are preventing you from living in your true divine essence and your true divinity? Those sons of impotent revolt in your life, what are those things that you need to transform and change? So I'm going to do this Qumran Hesi, and it would be remiss of me if I didn't say that this Qumran Hesi was created by Baba Haru Ankra Samase Patah, a very, very beautiful Hesi. And, you know, as we call forth that inner divinity, that is real true wealth. It's a deep wealth inside of you, but we just have to tap into it. You know, one of the things you will hear Hemnete Jabari talk about, and it's so important, is to cultivate your divinity. So really cultivate that. So I'm going to be brief with this Hesi because it's cold out here. Kumra, kumra, kumherura, kumherura, ra, ra, ra. Kumra, kumra, kumherura, kumherura, ra, ra, ra. Kumra, kumra, kumherura, kumherura, ra, ra, ra. Kumra, ra, 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 kumra, ra, 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 kumherura, ra, ra, ra. Kumra, ra, 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 kumra, ra, 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 kumherura, ra, ra, ra. Kumra, ra, 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 kumra, ra, 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 kumherura, ra, ra, ra. Kumra, kumra, kumherura, 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 kumherura, ra, ra, ra.
Dua, dua, dua. Dua, 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 dua. It is so appropriate that as we're talking about finding the sun in ourselves, rebirthing the sun in ourselves, that we do both the. Now, he gave you heavy Hesi now. That's heavy Hesi, right? The first part he gave you is for you to expel those things in your life that are damaging you, to slough off those things that you need to get rid of to be who you must be in this new period. And then the Hesi is to recognize that the sun is you. May the hidden sun be revealed to my face. With that, I'm going to say dua to you all for being here. Much more, much love. Let me say, please go forth at home. And all of you that are here, go forth in divine balance. Shemen Ma'at. We love you dearly. Yes, we should do the office. If you want to do it real quick as we do it, we would do an affirmation at the end. Okay. I'm going to let you, let's let Sanet Seshmi to do the Amasu so we can have our closing affirmation, please. Did you want to say something? Am I forgetting something? I don't know. Now, let me ask this. Would each of you like to say something? Do you want to say something? Breathe. Because I see him doing this. He's moving the feet to stay
To the family out there, as we come to the closing of what we call this solstice year, take time to reflect not only on the spiritual aspects, but the physical aspects of being. Make sure that you, I'm in the middle of a fast. I don't know if everyone else is fasting for the solstice, but as you come out of it, if you have been fasting, gradually come out of it, eat properly, get the proper herbs at this time of the season. I'm not sure one of the herbs at this time of the season, but make sure you incorporate that into your diet and your well-being. When it's long nights, you notice that it can be somewhat depression, because it's night. It weighs on you.
Yes.
And so you have to do things that will keep that light alive in you, that ignition, because you know that you're getting ready to plant the seeds for when spring comes, that spring equinox. So we are doing these things to prepare ourselves for that new planting of our seeds and the harvest comes up. So that's my quick little analogy. I wanted to say something.
All the long-winded people are being short. You see this, right? Me and Ames, we can go. Well, you see how quick that was, right? That was quick. Let me say to you, before we leave, that we'll do our final affirmation. And I want you to get in and do the work. Do the work. Because no one can do the work for you. You must do the work. And when you do the work, you will see the fruits of your labor. Can we ask Seshmi to lead us in so we can get the feminine energy? We got to get the feminine energy in there for our final affirmation.
Amasu in Pa Inter.
Amasu in Pa Inter.
Sauexu Emet Ra in Pa
Sau-
Inter.
Sauexu Emet Ra in Pa Inter.
Au Tuaura
Au Tuaura
Maketi
Maketi
Pa Herura.
Pa Dua.
Dua.
You want to say it? Tell us what it is in English for the folks who aren't familiar with it.
Give yourself daily to the divine.
Give yourself daily to the divine.
Keep yourself daily for the divine.
Keep yourself daily for the divine.
And do it tomorrow.
And do it tomorrow.
As you do today.
As you do today. Twanter. Thank you to the divine. That's one of the oldest prayers ever written. And so it is appropriate that we say it here. With that, I'm going to let you all look at their faces. It's cold. It's cold. Yeah. So we say to you, dua for attending. Sheme Ma'at. Go forth in divine balance. Peace.
All right.